What's going on, world? This is your girl, Marky Lemons-Ryhal, coming to you on this marvelous Monday. And I'm pretty excited about today's show. There's some people who I've known for a long time, but I don't believe that I've ever interviewed anyone that I have known as long as I know Kimberly Offord. So I'm going to take us back to UIC in the spring of 1990 when I decided to come out for Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. And Kim was standing at the front of the room giving us the stare down. And yes, you did give us the stare down. What's going on, Kim?
Hey, Marky, it is so good to be here. Thank you for having me. And yes, I remember that. We were very young then.
we were very young then, and let me say this: you were serious about business even then. And I know that when you first came out of undergrad, being a author is not new to you. That you were author. What year was that? In the 90s.
Yeah, that was 95, I want to say.
Back
Yeah.
in 1995. But today we bring in the good stuff because what you decided today, one, you're in the world of real estate. I know that you are a volunteer, an avid volunteer, but that also comes with being a member of Delta Sigma Theta because you served our sorority well, okay? Um, but even in the world of real estate, all that volunteering you do there, and you're on a committee called the 77, where we have one representative from each of the 77 communities of the city of Chicago. But I do believe that I did see your name on a list that I can talk about today. Probably 2 weeks ago, I couldn't talk about it as a chair of a committee. So, what committee are you going to be chairing for the Chicago Association of Realtors?
So this year, I'm so excited because I am going to. I've served on the professional development committee for a few years now. So I'm currently the vice chair, and I'll be moving on to chairing that committee. It's been so great. And that committee basically, what we do is we look at different opportunities to educate our realtors in the Chicago community and or in the Chicago, all those involved in the Chicago Association of Realtors, and it has really been great.
So then, you know what? When I started thinking about work for referrals, right? Because you came back with a three hitter this time. The recipe for referrals, hold on, let me just get them all together here. And the referral gratitude journal. When I go back and I look at the work for the referrals, this is so well laid out, right? And this speaks to that professional development. So I'm glad that you are in the position to help educate realtors because this is actually phenomenal. And one thing that agents don't think about, and here's the reason why you want to work for referrals. Referrals cost you less money. That means that you're going to earn a higher return on investment. And before we dive in, I'm going to give a scenario. You can have one agent substantially outsell another agent. But if they're investing, and I know this is a true example, an agent who was investing $10,000 per month in Zillow leads versus another agent who wasn't investing any money in leads. I'm not going to even call her out. I don't even think she can't really even turn on a computer. All she did was work referrals. She did not earn as much money as the person spending $120,000 per year on Zillow leads, but she netted more money because she was not spending $120,000 per year on leads. So, Kim, tell us about the book and how we're going to start working for them referrals so we can increase our return on investment and operate at a higher profitability.
So basically the whole theory behind that, the workbook and the planner, is the fact that you should be building a referral based business. The majority, I would say 90% of my business is nothing but referrals. And so when I wrote the workbook, I wanted to figure out, how do I bottle up what I'm doing? How can I share that success with someone else? So basically the workbook doesn't make any assumptions about anyone's previous knowledge about marketing, about getting referrals in real estate. And what I do is I take you through the whole process of what is a referral? How do you get a referral? Who do you get referrals from? And how do you build up that solid base? And then once I take you through that whole explanation, I then give you a planner, a 52-week planner on how you're going to build that solid database, because that is the core of anybody's business. You got to have a database. Even if it's just an Excel spreadsheet, and that's how you build that referral business.
Now, people are already asking, where can they buy? You can go to markylemons.live. All of these books are available right now on Amazon. And I'm going to tell you what I'm loving about Amazon, because you have to look sometimes in the back of the book. They're generally going to be published in the state that you live in. So if you go and order right now, hopefully you will have your copy in the next 48 hours. I know that mine came within 48 hours. So I want you to go over to Marky Lemons, MARKI.live, LIVE. I'm actually going to put it up, but I want you to come back to that database.
Okay.
So I know that you've been heavily involved in our sorority ever since day one, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you've been consistent with your sphere of influence. When you talk about your database and you look at this 90% of your business, when are you capturing that information and putting it into an Excel spreadsheet or one of these other third-party tools?
Every day. Every day. Every day. And you'd be surprised. You would think that, let me tell you something. I had a database about 2 years ago of about 4,000 or 5,000 people. But then I went through and I trimmed that down, because it didn't matter that I had the numbers. What mattered was that I had people that who actually know, like, and trust me, And so every day I'm building that database of people that I meet, people that I work with, other professionals that I work with, other realtors that I work with, businesses that I patronize. So I'm building that database every day, but I'm also going in and I'm caring for that database every day. I'm trimming it down every day, because you just have to nurture it. You just have to nurture your database.
When you say, well, to trim it down, I think it's often hard for realtors. That means that you delete people. Okay. Everybody is not supposed to be in your database.
Yep.
What's one thing that you do to nurture your database? Something that you're doing consistently to nurture.
So I'm staying in contact with them. That you have to stay in contact, with your people in your database. So I'm nurturing it in that way. I'm reaching out to them. I'm sending them newsletters. I'm being very mindful of when people are actually removing themselves from my database. And so it's there are a lot of different things that you can do when you're nurturing that database, but those are the main things that I kind of focus in on.
So there are some stats that you share in the book, and this is why people need this, right? If 91% of buyers would use their agent again or recommend their agent again, right? And 74% of sellers definitely would use their agent again. But the shocking reality is 41% of sellers used a real estate agent, found their agent through referrals by friends or family. We do not do a good job of nurturing that database. Okay. And that means staying in consistent contact once the transaction has concluded.
Yes. Yes.
And I'm looking over here right now, Kim. I got 2 boxes ready to go out.
Mm-hmm.
When we came home Friday, March the 13th, when the country shut down, I came home, Austin came home, and Skylar came home. My number one goal was I didn't want people to forget about me, right? I did not want them to forget about me. And so in that process, I've sent handwritten notes. I send out an email every 2 weeks. I didn't want to keep my podcast going, but I'm like, if I can just weather this storm and stay in front of people, they will not forget about me. And I believe it was the other day that I just booked 10 round trip airline tickets. When I looked at my credit card bill, Kimberly, I was like, oh, whoa, I ain't spent this much money in a long time. But it's time to go back to work because I nurtured the database. And yeah, go right ahead. I'm sorry.
When I looked at those statistics, I was shocked, but I was shocked because I said to myself, well, why aren't we staying in contact? Why isn't something so simple as that one exercise? Why aren't we getting that? And the reason why people aren't using that realtor again is because, number one, they couldn't figure out how to get in contact with you anymore because they didn't know if you were even in the business anymore, right? And you didn't do a good job of letting them know, I'm still here. I'm still selling real estate. And okay, yeah, I just sold you a house a year ago. But guess what? I know you may not be buying a house, but you may know somebody who's buying a house. You may know, you could refer me to somebody. And that's why I've said this for years. I work for the referral and not the commission. Because if I'm doing a good job for you, whether I sell you a house or not, even if I just call me and I educate you and maybe persuade and tell you maybe selling or buying is not right for you right now, because I was honest and because I was, I educated you and I worked for you and not a commission, and I invested in you in that moment. Now you're going to refer me to somebody else. But guess what? I'm going to stay in contact with you too, because you're going to remember me and you're going to remember Kim. She gave me a lot of good information.
Now, I love what you just said. So working for the referral and not for the commission, and going back and taking a look at our fiduciary responsibilities. And what I often see with our fellow agents is the fact that they forget about this thing called undivided loyalty. We have to put the needs and the wants of the client before our own, including if your mortgage is due and you look and you ain't had no buyer offers accepted, right? You still owe loyalty. And it's not about the compensation. So let me say this. Besides working off of referrals, there's times and oftentimes we see each other at church that we got to take it to the altar because I be praying on some of these deals, right? Because I don't ever want anyone to be in a bad deal in order for me to be compensated. And
Yep.
sometimes these roads, look, they be a little rough and you be thinking like, is this supposed to be this person's house?
Yep.
And I know everybody is not a prayer, but I am. And I am straight up like, if this is not meant for that person, I understand. Let us find them the absolute best deal. And that's why we've had the longevity we've had in the business. Now, as we keep going through this, I'm looking at here, business models about referral systems. And so if I'm correct here, you're building a referral based real estate business because of Tesla, Evernote, Dropbox, Uber, Airbnb, PayPal, American Prime, because they all have a referral program, and they all do have a referral program, right? Look, Canva
Mhm.
has a referral program, and this morning I put down Kajabi has a referral program, right? Because they've done a good job. We're willing to share them with the world. I never thought of it like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when you think about it, I mean, it's who's the better expert, right, on whether or not they should use you than someone who's already used you or someone who trusts you. What's the first thing we do? We have conversations. Nobody needs a real estate agent until they need a real estate agent. And what do? They ask someone, you know, a good real estate agent? Or do you know someone, that I can call, whatever it is? Look at Facebook where we can go on and we can ask for referrals for whatever it is that we want, and have people to just post on the post, someone who that they would refer. Referrals are powerful. They really are.
And look, while we're talking about that, because we have a young gentleman in the Chicago, Eric Westside Soderberg, everybody decided that we need a dunk tank at at the renovation room event. So the people come in, not only do they provide referrals, they tell you what you should do to people, and everybody, like I'm sure we can do that as a true bona fide fundraiser, because
Mhm.
I would pay $100 to throw a ball to Kim. So you can use this. This can go both ways, y'all. So thoughts on referrals. When, first of all, are you comfortable asking for referrals?
Oh my goodness. Some people really are not. Some people are not comfortable asking, but you got to get comfortable asking. Even if you just, put it, even if you just send a handwritten note, if you're not comfortable saying to somebody, hey, can you refer me to somebody? Send them a little note in the mail, a card that says, hey, I'm just thinking about you today. And I hope that you have a good week, or I hope you're enjoying your new house, and while you're at it, can you just refer me, and just put a card in there.
I
If you're not comfortable asking verbally, you can do it in so many different ways.
I'm laughing, Kim, because I'm glad I got it right here, right? This is my direct mail piece. I thought I was gonna have to get up to go get an envelope, right?
Mhm.
So I took last year's Real Producer magazine and I went to Walgreens and I had the cards made up and I said, can we reserve a date for your next real estate event? This is a save the date card. I want you, and this going in a little envelope because I'm asking for that business again. Now I know you're getting this email. Look, every 2 weeks.
Mhm.
Now
Mhm.
I need you to have, because you're coming back to the office. So I need to be on your desk. I need to be on your desk, guys. We have gotten away from spending money on marketing, but we have to spend money on marketing. And I am bragging about the fact that last year I operated at a 65% profitability. That's because we were in the midst of a pandemic. So I scaled everything down. However, in order to earn more money, to be more visible, I have to spend more money. I will never operate at a 65% profitability again because I want to make more money. That means I have to come back and spend money on marketing. Okay. And I'm noticing that people don't think they should spend any money. You got to nurture. When you can't nurturing ain't free.
It's not. And what you just touched on is, okay, yep, you got the email. Now you have my marketing material sitting on your desk. So it's all about those touch points. And that's one of the things that I touch on in that book is I actually break it down. You know what I did, Marky? I had to sit and think about what am I doing? I had to actually think about what is it that I'm doing and write it down and figure out, is there a system here? And once I did that, I realized that I was touching people multiple times in multiple different ways throughout the quarter. And I build my planning on a quarterly basis. And that's how I did the planner. 16 touches in a quarter. I give you a core strategy of things that you're going to do on a regular basis every week in your week. And I give you a little checklist to check off when you did it, if you did it or not. But then I also give you areas where you can write down 4 things that you're going to do 4 times in the quarter. So 16 touches every quarter. By the end of the year, you've touched somebody 64 times.
Look, you a touching person. Oh Lord, look, I feel all touched on. But let me say this, and we're gonna answer Trudy's question. When I'm taking a look at this, right, you did it in a font big enough for the average realtor to be able to read. Like you got a little cursive in there, but it even stands out because oftentimes when we're looking at these workbooks, even when we look at marketing, I want to talk to people about their marketing. The average age of a realtor is 53. What I can tell you happens when a person is around 40, bifocals become a part of their life. All of your marketing should be legible for people to be able to read it. But this is a really nice font size because I can see everything, even the cursive. And what else I like is the fact that you got nice graphics in here, right? So even if a person don't like to read, right, they can kind of look at the graphics and see, girl, you did a really good look. I'm proud of you. You did a
Thank
good
you.
job.
I'm a
Okay.
I'm a student of Marky's.
Thank you very much. Look, now this is where the money is, right?
Mm.
Setting goals. And I want you to answer Trudy's question. What are
Okay.
some of the ways to know who to trim? Because that kind of goes back with them business goals.
Okay. So the way that I trim my database, well, first and foremost, I look at in my the way I have my database, I can see who's actually opening the mail, the emails that I send. And if I see that over, a year has gone by, maybe I have the incorrect email address for them. If it's someone that I know, I'll pick up the phone and call and say, hey, have a conversation, whatever, and try to update that information. But if it's not someone that I recall, or, someone that I've done business with, or, someone I'm just not in contact with, I take them off my database, because here's why I do that. I have a core 100 in my database that um, I'm going to send them something regularly, and those are the people I'm going to spend money on. And so I'm not spending money where it's not benefiting me, right? And so that's why I trim. I have my core 100, and the reason why I do that is if I can get at least 10 referrals, and that's not hard, out of 100 people, that's 10 transactions in the year. So I'm trimming based on whether or not they're opening my emails. I'm trimming based on whether or not I know that person, I'm still in contact with that person, have a relationship with that person, or I've gotten previous referrals from that person. And just also based on, whether or not they're bouncing, in my email list.
So I'm going to elaborate because we have another question here, and this is from Pamela Bell. What program do you use to know who's opening the mail? So let me say, I want to give you two things here. I use a platform called Kajabi. Kajabi just sent us an email last week about how they're getting ready to segment our existing list. And the way they're going to segment that list is they're going to notify us once, I think it's after 8 emails or 60 days, if people aren't opening it, because it actually goes against your email score and ranking, just to have a bunch of people that you send a message to that do not interact with the email. So Kajabi is setting it up that they're going to notify us to take those people off of our consistent list. Like we might send them something once a year to try to re-engage them, but it's actually hindering our receivables to keep all of those people in our email database. So we just got that message a couple of weeks ago. Now, what I would say for so most email systems, whether it's which one are you using, Kim?
So I've used a few, even Constant Contact will tell you whether or not people are opening your email. So you can get a very basic one like Constant Contact, MailChimp.
Chimp.
They will tell you, you'll get a report. You can look at the actual statistics, the report after you send a mailing of how many people are opening your mail, looking at it, responding to it, engaging in that email, clicking on your links. And that's data that you want to look at. You have to almost become a data person too.
The next thing, when it comes to the direct mail piece, one thing that we've been doing on direct mail is adding a QR code, but putting a bit.ly link behind it so we can see if people scan the code but don't reach out to us. So when it comes to your marketing, your referral programs, you have to come back and look at these numbers to see who is engaging. Now, here's the thing about the QR code. It's not going to tell me who's engaging. It's just going to tell me that people are engaging, right? And help me shore up our numbers. Now we got to come over here because our boy K Rock, the #1 multifamily agent in the city of Chicago, stated that we are two of his favorites. He's definitely been a student of both of ours. So thank you, K Rock. K Rock is also a partner in Kilwin. So I'm gonna tell this story, Kim. Couple of years ago, Steven decided that he forgot about my birthday. And I'm not mad that he forgot. He had a lot going on this week. But he decided he was going to go buy me some cheap flowers from Mariano's and a cheap taffy apple from Mariano's. The only place I eat my taffy apples are from Kilwin's. it took me a couple of days to say something to Stephen. But finally, as I saw those pitiful flowers sitting on my table, I went into the kitchen. I said, Stephen, let me have a talk with you. I'm clear you forget my birthday, and I'm not mad, but I don't ever want you to think that those are acceptable flowers and that was an acceptable taffy apple. Either get me before or after, or save your money, but don't buy me that.
Academic.
Yeah, don't buy me whatever that apple is from Mariano's, because I'm used to a Kilwin's apple. So, at first he wanted to argue. I said, this is not an argument. I'm telling you, save your money if that's what you think you should be buying me, right? So a couple of days later, he finally went and got my favorite flowers. He went over to Kilwin's. He got my apple, right? Because here's the thing: if you gonna do it right, or don't do it at all. So K Rock, just a shout out. I want everybody. Actually, Cassandra Sneed is doing National Ice Cream Day with Kilwin's in High Park. So just a big shout out to them. So we talked about those emails. Some people do not check their emails. How do you figure out how to reach them? Some people you shouldn't be reaching. And it's not meant for you to reach everybody.
Right. I mean, you know, if not everybody's an email person. I do realize that. It also depends on your demographic. If you are trying to reach out to, like, say for instance, if you're trying to reach millennials, you're probably not going to reach them on their email. You're probably going to reach them through text messages or some other form of social media, not Facebook. And you just have to touch people where they are. That's the main thing. You have to understand who you're talking to and touch them where they are. Most of my audience in terms of real estate, they're on Facebook. So, I don't rely completely on Facebook to touch them. I mean, excuse me, on email. I go to Facebook and I post there, so that's why, it seems like when I say 16 times, sometimes you may not hit a person 16 times. You may hit them 12 times. You may hit them 10 times. But the point is that you're trying to create those multiple touch points, because everybody's not going to open your email, but they may see you today on Facebook. They may see you today on Instagram. And so you've touched them. How many times are you just riding through daily life and you see, I don't know, Coca-Cola sign? How many times do you ride through daily life? And these are just basic marketing principles of just being in front of mind, so that you don't need a realtor today, but when you do need one, my name comes up because you've seen it so many times. And that's the whole point.
I'm laughing because I realized I'm a Diet Coke drinker. I realized I wasn't seeing nearly as many Diet Coke commercials since we've been in the pandemic. And the issue was they were having inventory issues with keeping up with the inventory. So they pulled a lot of their ad spend. I don't know if you noticed this, but the things that you weren't seeing in the store, you also were not seeing ads for, because now that's a constant complaint. Why are you out? Why are you out? Why are you out? So they stopped spending that money. But let me say this, because we talked about Facebook and maybe Instagram. Maybe it's been about a month now that I decided to delete Clubhouse, Snapchat, TikTok, and Twitter. And that is because you heard Kim say her core 100. I bet you if she went and looked at her core 100, there are at least 10 things they all have in common. Okay, at least 10 things. There comes a point that when you're servicing if you have a business plan and you are servicing a certain price point or a certain area or a certain property type, you're going to start to see similarities within that core. Okay. And now you start to pivot your business to become better acquainted with that core and their communication style. I used to have the SRES designation, which means servicing seniors. I love seniors, but I do not communicate in their preferred communication style, because they love to talk on the telephone, and I'm not a phone person. And so what I realized was I shouldn't have that SRES, because I can't service them the way they desired to be serviced. And we have to start, when you think about this referral business, you got to start with a business plan. And in here, Kimberly puts your goals. So this is a workbook. Like before
It
we
is.
get into our planning, we plan. You plan to
Mhm.
plan, right?
Yep.
And here's some of the things you just mentioned as well. Nurturing that list.
Hmm.
It could be television and radio, so they hear you on a local talk show. It could be direct mail. It can be events. It can be apparel. It can be social media. And then you put your email in there. But I'm proud to say, I just want to show you guys this. People say, Mark, you keep everything in arms in arm's reach. I got it all here. So it says, Happy Birthday Month. Now, this is from Barbara Betts, and Barbara Betts is out of California, and she sends out a monthly birthday card. So I met her in 2019. My first card from her was 2020. Well, 2020 is when I turned 50. So I got my first 50th birthday card and now my first 51st birthday card from Barbara Betts. Okay. And she also sent me this card and a Christmas card. Her two cards are absolutely the best cards, right? So it says Happy Birthday Month. She's simply going over to Facebook. When you go to the birthdays, you can connect that with your actual Google Calendar, download it, find the mailing addresses, and I know now I'm going to get two cards per year from Barbara Betts.
And those are just little ways that you stay in front of people. And I go over that, and I give some examples of ways, but you can come up with your own ways of just staying in front of people. There's social media, there's direct mail, community involvement. um you know the sky is the limit. The sky is the limit, but it's just, you got to do it. You have to do it. You can't just assume.
I'm looking around because when you just said community involvement, now I'm thinking about the Chicago Association of Realtors. And as a result of your community involvement, they'll give you a shout out online, but you're also featured in the Chicago Realtor magazine because you're volunteering and they're taking pictures. So now people, that's another touch, right?
Yep.
And the potential for other referral business from agents who would potentially look you up because they've seen you numerous times and realize that maybe these are some areas I shouldn't service because I don't know anything about those areas.
Getting involved in the community is so important because it puts you in front of people. Why would you? Well, first of all, getting involved in the community says that you're vested. It says that you're vested, and it says that you understand the community. I One of my pet peeves. You can't be the realtor for a community that you're not familiar with, and that you don't understand. And so I might be stepping on some toes or what have you, but one thing that you have to understand is that you have to be genuine in what it is that you're doing. Okay. And so I live on the South Side. I know the South Side, born and raised on the South Side, just like you, Marky. But even more specifically, I know what areas of the South Side I know like the back of my hand. And so I'm not going to try to be the realtor to the Gold Coast because I don't know anybody that lives on the Gold Coast, right? And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. And so what I do is I get involved in the community where I'm planted, right? And because I can build my business, there. And so getting involved in that community, it puts you in front of people, puts you and it shows that you care. It shows that you are vested, and people come to you after that and say, you were involved in that project there, or that community meeting, and I really loved that about you. And so now, hey, I have my mom needs to sell her house. Can you help me out with that?
So, you know what? When you just said that, because we're talking about planted and you cannot be the realtor for the community in which you do not serve. And when we start looking at those top producers, right, for the city of Chicago, I'm going to say that platinum list, they are all very vested in that community. That Lincoln Park realtor is vested in Lincoln Park. That Gold Coast realtor is vested in the Gold Coast. That Pilsen realtor is
Yep.
vested in Pilsen. That Chatham realtor is vested in Chatham. And let me say this. There are some, and I just saw him the other day, so I'm going to give him mention, Frank Montrose. Frank Montrose does not live in the city, but you can ride down on Frank Montrose almost any day of the week, patronizing a business in the community that he serves. We have broke bread at Truth, look, Valois, like 10 restaurants because look, we've been at community meetings, we've been at the alderman's house together because you gotta come there. You might not live there, but you gotta come and you gotta be vested in that community. That woo girl
Let me
planted.
tell you. But let
Woo.
me tell you, Marky, I'm a managing broker and I have agents. And I tell my agents all the time, if you are not vested in that community and you don't even want to go to that listing, then don't take it. Refer it to somebody else. Refer that listing to somebody else. And that goes into working for that referral. If you get business and you don't understand that property or that community, refer it to someone else. And guess what? It'll come back to you. It'll come back to you because that agent's going to remember you. They're going to refer something over to you as well.
I want to point out that this year, in the midst of the pandemic, because I'm looking at these 16 touches, right? And this is a lot. So, guys, you got to go right now, markylemons.live, and get your book. Now, let me say this. It's 3 books. Might as well buy all 3 of them, okay? Don't look, get them all 3. But the one we're working out of right now is Work for Referrals. We also have the Referral Gratitude Journal. You got to give gratitude. Gratitude changed my business. I'm going to be honest with you. There was an elevation that came once I started telling everybody thank you. And look, I just want to show you this. I'm going to come back. I got my nice little drawer over here of my $2 bills because I give out $2 tips because people stop and look at their money and they save it. I'm keeping that going. And then we also have the recipe for referrals. But when we come back and we think about these 16 different touches, right? I will earn roughly $60,000 this year off a referral business. I just want y'all to hear that because I'm touching. Okay. And it's referral business and I'm operating at a 65% profitability. It's my 3rd stream of income. Okay. Because all these touches, the social
Mhm.
media, the technology, the fact that not only am I, and let me tell you this, me and Kim did not coordinate today on our outfit. Kim Slapback. Gratitude is everything. The color, everything is matching her book. I got houses for sale. I got signage and everything. My pom poms, everything is in that color. Okay. You got to show up every single day. Closed mouths don't get fed. But I'm loving that vested in the community. So yeah, you give us all of the different touches
Yeah.
that we need to do. And then you break down, right? What to plan, that weekly and that quarterly planner is in there giving people ideas. Cause our fellow realtors, they love ideas. So you made sure everything was in here and then they get to plan their own. Okay. So this is also going to be, I'm trying to get positioned, a planner for you
Mhm.
to set those quarterly goals and those weekly goals.
Yeah. So you do the quarterly goals, set out, your quarter of how much you want to make during that quarter. And remember now, this is from a referral point of view. So this is how much you want to make just based on referrals alone. I'm not saying abandon any of your other marketing efforts. We want to get to the point where you can abandon your other marketing efforts, but I'm not saying do that. I'm saying this is how we're going to do it based on referrals. And then at the end of every quarter, I do a review. What did you do well? What worked? How many referrals did you get? How many referrals did you give? um and it's just laid out for you. And now the second book, recipe for referrals. Now that one, I go into actually giving you different recipes, I call them, for each quarter of what you can do if you want to, plan out your quarter. But that book, I would say definitely get the recipe for get work for the referral first, because I really break it down, step by step. And then the recipe is, for your more advanced realtor who understands marketing systems, understands databases, you know. So yeah.
So what's funny, because I raised a second generation realtor, Skylar got highly upset at me about a month ago because he realized I gave a referral to Cassandra Sneed and I gave a referral to Sarah Ware. And I'm pointing this out when it comes to referral business and giving referral business. The better the referral you give, the better the referral you receive. Now, you heard me just mention Sarah Ware. Sarah's not at my company. Now, I have 21 agents I recruited. I get a override on their production, okay? However, there are certain situations that I know that Sarah's going to be the best suited person, regardless to the company she's affiliated with. I
Mhm.
don't step over dollars to pick up pennies either. So I sent these referrals. Skylar told me, well, when do you think I'm going to be equipped to handle your referrals? You promised me referrals. I said, no, sweetheart. I never promised you referrals. I promised you leads. There's a difference. I'm going to give referrals to the person who is best suited to serve that person. Because the better the referrals I give, the better the referrals I receive. And what you said was so true. Everyone wants to serve everything. If you had a business plan, you would know that you should not be doing that.
Yeah.
And you're going to waste a lot of time,
Yeah.
a whole lot of time. So, guys, I want you to go over right now. Let me put the graphic back up there for you. What you're going to do is go over to markylemons.live. These books are right up under our live broadcast on Amazon. We're going to pick up first the work for referral. Okay. It's laid out great. You get everything you need plus the planner. I would say you need to get both of them because this also has some great details in it with the recipe for referrals. And I see how you put this graphic over here. That's really nice. Like how you gonna eat in real estate. Love that. And then also pick up the referral gratitude because right now over on Kimberly's Instagram account, she is posting her gratitude every single day. Are you doing a 30-day challenge of
I'm doing
gratitude?
a 30-day gratitude challenge, because listen, referrals are nothing but a form of gratitude. That's all they are. That is all a referral is. And you got to give back. You have to give gratitude in order to get it. And I'm big on it. And you said something earlier, and that it was a life-changing thing for you in terms of giving, understanding the importance of gratitude. And that's what it has been for me as well. So much that I'm writing another book.
Come on now, Kim. Come on now. Well, one, these are great. And let me say this. We didn't know what she was working on. I knew that you were getting a new website. Um, but when I say everything came together, I mean your brand update is on point. I love the wine, the richness of the colors. But these are great books. You see, I went and purchased all three. The day you said, now let me say this. I didn't know how great they were gonna be, but the day you put it out there, I was like, let me go support, right? Because you're a supporter. So let me go and support. And this is what you need. Now, let me say this. As managing brokers out here, I would say you would do this as your book club to hold your agents accountable. Because I know that we have book club in our office so that we can start building that referral income. And Kimberly, I don't know if people paid attention because you said it kind of like at the end. This is another stream of income.
Oh yeah.
You still doing your business. This is that icing on the cake income. So click right now, go over to markylemons.live, purchase all three, buy them as gifts for your fellow realtors. Anyone who sent you a referral, teach them how to do referrals better. Okay. And I want to just thank you, Kimberly, for showing out, for providing so much value today. And I appreciate you for your, let me count them, 32 years of service through Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, because you are a volunteering beast.
And Marky, let me just say this to you. Thank you for giving all that you give, because there's some people who get information and they hold on to it and they just won't let it go. And you are a person, if anyone, I'm going to say this, if anyone listens to everything that Marky says and just do it, just try it, you will find yourself in so much better situation. And we're better because of you, Marky. And I just want to say thank you for being you and for giving so much.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Everybody go buy your book today, and to let everybody know that they need to buy the books today. Thank you. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you.